Does this make any sense?
Harvard announced that students starting with the class of 2017 who belong to sororities, fraternities, or single-sex final clubs won't be able to lead athletic teams or other student organizations.
It would also be banned from certain scholarships, including the Rhodes Scholarships and other campus opportunities.
Some think it's too severe and misses the mark, an attempt to cut down on campus sex assaults.
Very extreme and also isn't really addressing the root of the problem.
What students do away from campus is their own business.
I consider the action to be against all students' right to free association.
This is sort of an extreme response. There should have been some larger discussion about this before it was just kind of decided.
It is a great example of how civil liberties can be violated in a manner that gets a lot of people to cheer before they think about the implications.
Isn't Harvard allowed to decide its own basic values?
It's allowed to decide its own basic values, but it's not allowed to deprive people of fundamental liberties. I suspect that the only reason that Harvard applied this policy to sororities was that, one, it wanted to appear even-handed, and two, it may even have been concerned about facing an equal protection challenge under Massachusetts law.
I think it's very dangerous for the university to try to prescribe or proscribe who can be the captain of the football team, which is elected by the football players, who can edit the yearbook, which is elected by the students who work on the yearbook, who can lead in a drama production. It further seems inappropriate for the college to say that it has certain values and those who are inconsistent with those values are somehow subject to sanction. At earlier moments, the values included anti-communism. At earlier moments, the values included opposition to homosexuality. Who's to say that the values at one moment are the right values for all moments?
Is there a single set of uniform 21st century values? One gets the immediate sense from the administration that they're on the right side of history.
From a first generation, low income perspective, I think it's bad. There's some first generation, low income, minority group students are all the, rich, very exclusive clubs are being sort of disbanded because de facto no one's going to want to be a part of them. But I still think that, it's not going to make any other spaces more inclusive. So I think the university should just take a more positive approach and try to provide spaces instead of taking away the ones that exist right now.
The real question is, how can you support people's desire to form community while also supporting women from getting into a position where they can be taken advantage of?
The right to associate with the people who you want to associate with in private spaces is clearly a fundamental right in any democracy, but that hasn't entered into the discussion. The only thing that matters is broadcasting the moralistic and political message that we at the university are opposed to sex discrimination.
What they're doing is taking away opportunities that students could have based on if they want to hang out with all women or all men.
I think the target all along has been the well-established men's clubs. And unfortunately and unconscionably, collateral damage has included the women's clubs, as well as the sororities and the fraternities.
They feel like their voices haven't really been heard.
I think that one of the foremost emotions that we're all feeling is frustration for a couple different reasons. One of those being the timing, of course, of the announcement.
The timing of the announcement of this crackdown is very interesting. They're right in the middle of finals.
My guess would be that if these sanctions were to hold, recruitment numbers would drop very considerably.
Had I not part of that organization, I don't know if I could have stayed at Harvard. Harvard's a very intense place, and the support that I've gotten from my fraternity brothers in times of need and times of stress has been tremendous for me.
Being the president of my sorority has absolutely been the most transformational experience that I've ever had. It would definitely be one of the hardest choices that they could really force us to make.
I am not a natural lover of elite private clubs. I went to Princeton in the class of 1964. Princeton had what were then called and are still called eating clubs, private clubs. that were ranked from the most prestigious to the least prestigious. I resented these clubs. I was not exactly an elite kind of kid. I was born and raised in Brooklyn to a lower middle class family. I didn't have a lot of sympathy for these clubs. I certainly didn't want to join one of these clubs. And so I didn't. For a while, I ate tuna fish out of cans in my room. But I feel very strongly in the freedom of association. I believe that like-minded people should be able to join together on whatever basis they want. Freedom of association is protected by the First Amendment and by cognate provisions in the Massachusetts Constitution.
The only way forward is if we make it clear what principles we want to uphold, if we defend them in the face of people who might disagree, who might bring other considerations into the debate, and come to a collective decision that we can justify. If the university can't do that, then who can?
So I've got great respect and admiration for the people who lead the university, but on this one, I hope they will reconsider.